One of the biggest mental health and well-being challenges students face as they transition to their next level of education is a change in their environment. We asked some students what their biggest fears were before attending a new school environment, how they overcame homesickness, and how they adjusted and adapted to newfound independence in a new location.
Mi nombre es Merfi Díaz Corporán. Soy de República Dominicana, pero actualmente llevo 5 años aquí en España. Hice un grado medio de gestión administrativa y ahora estoy cursando el primero de AIF de grado superior, de administración y finanzas. Claro, venir de una cultura de un país a otra cultura diferente es un choque grande. También a nivel académico, también. No es que la educación vamos a decir en general, de Latinoamérica sea mala, pero es muy diferente. Aquí por lo menos te exigen más cosas, tienes que sacar más notas. Llegué de un país donde conocía prácticamente todo el mundo al no conocer a nadie, solo a mi madre. Y hacer amigos también es un poco difícil. Y bueno, con el tiempo pues me fui adaptando poco a poco.
I would say I did struggle to find my bearings, as they say. That's another term I found. I struggled in terms of childcare. I struggled in terms of moving from into a new town. I struggled even understanding what college life was about. The whole thing of getting to know people that you don't know, being in a classroom with people that you don't know, understanding different personalities. That was a struggle too. I also struggled with the different teaching styles that the lecturers came up with, because each lecturer delivers the module in their own way. So that was also a struggle, Some of the things I did to cope with those challenges I just named were to connect with people that I felt I had common ground. So in my class, there was a particular student who, me and her, we seemed to have a lot of things in common. So I remember sharing with her, this was the problem I was having. And initially, it's very hard to be that vulnerable with anybody. But when I shared this problem, she was like, there's a way, there's a solution to this. How about we do this to fix this problem? That way you're still able to continue with your studies. I also referred to some of the supports within the college. At the time I didn't know about it, but somebody had just mentioned to me that, try the students' union office and see what help or extra support they might provide for you. And just by that, things just seemed to make sense.
Probably how much coursework there was, because I knew to an extent how much coursework there was, but people that came from A-levels or from school didn't know how much there was at one time, so that's kind of difficult for some people. Probably when they're all due at the one time, it could be stressful. Like all your friends would be like, I want to go out, but you have to be like, I'm sorry, I have coursework. It's going to be, maybe have a wee what's the word? Back it up, you know what I mean? I spaced it out. I was like, I have to have fun because I'm still young, but then I have to be like, okay, coursework comes first, my education, my career, my future career comes first. So yeah, having a wee balance.
Mi nombre es Noemí, tengo 20 años y estoy estudiando aquí en Decrolí el grado superior de Guía, Información y Asistencias Turísticas. El último año, el año pasado, estuve estudiando en Valencia un curso de azafata. Estuve viviendo en un piso compartido con otras 2 chicas más. Pues pensaba la verdad que iba a ser como más buena en sí, pero al estar lejos de casa, al final, como en casa no se está en ningún lado, entonces me costó un poco adaptarme también por el hecho de que al no entenderme igual con las otras 2 chicas, porque a la hora de hacer o limpieza o el orden, pues no nos poníamos de acuerdo, o igual una hacía más y otra menos, era un poco complicado en ese aspecto, pero por lo demás también me ayudó que ella conocía gente allí y mis padres también me apoyaron, siempre hablaba con ellos, entonces fue buena, tiene sus cosas buenas, pero claro, también tiene sus cosas malas, como el hecho de que igual no congenias bien con la gente que compartes el piso.
I don't think I said I would struggled. I know it was probably hard for the first week or two because I moved up here and I moved into a house with 4 other girls that I didn't know any of them. So, you know, it was probably a bit daunting at the time, but it was the best thing for me. You know, I'm still talking to 2 of them girls. They're 2 of my best friends today. So, you know, that side of it was good. But then there was also coming into college. I would have been from Monaghan, so it's only a small area. I would have only been in a small secondary school. So even though Dundalk isn't really the biggest college, you know, coming up here was a lot different than my secondary school. So, but I found it very easy to, you know, the transition. I thought it was very easy, definitely. But the people up here really helped, and the lecturers were really nice as well, which always helps. I think the biggest struggle was keeping a clean house. You know, I like my area clean, I like my bedroom clean, and my bedroom was clean, but then it comes to the kitchen and the shared bathrooms, and I had a shared bathroom in first year and I've had an ensuite the last 2 years. It was like never again. And then just like also buying my own food, you know, it's just such a small thing, but I never expected to have to spend so much money on it either. So that was a big issue. But and cooking, I've got to learn a lot more about cooking over the last few years. And the older ones in the house also, there was an Italian girl and she like taught me how to make my own carbonara and stuff. So, you know, I was put in a good situation, so I was definitely.
Most certainly all our students come to us from the secondary schools, and they often come on an individual basis without their friends, as our first protocol would be maybe a level 2 or a level 3, and then they progress to HE. So what I find is when they come, they're quite quiet, and so right from the start, our first induction would be very important, where we do a lot of group work. We don't start with the academia first. The first week would be induction, where we play games. We introduce them to their academia, but it's all about making friends and getting to know the environment and seeking the support that they need. If they did need learning support, showing them the library where they could go for personal study, and also introducing them to extracurriculum activities as the sports or other things. We also run competitions, and we also do Erasmus trips. So during the induction we introduce them to that, which motivates them maybe to join groups and to participate more in class and work on their communication skills. So I find it's a bunch of things we need to do to help them settle in. Most important, I think, is the friendliness and warmth of the staff, and most certainly that's important in health and social care. And in the RFE colleges, our RFE college, our teachers are from health and social care backgrounds: counselling, nursing, social work, primary school teachers, occupational health, physiotherapists, and they tend to be promoting that warmth, communication, so that the students can come to us at any point with any worries, and then we would make a plan to how we would help them integrate and settle in better.